if ever we want to do a different one, you want to get people in, or you can do this without me. You can arrange to come here.
Definitely do this without you.
You bastard. Oh.
No. But
So
yeah,
that's what I love about you, Matt.
Say what we're all thinking.
sorry, did I say that loud? He's not
Absolutely no filter.
Yeah.
In 2016, we started on the journey of doing a story about the importance of Rom Skate Park from its historical heritage aspect through to the community of people that have been going there for years. So here's just a kind of conversation between me, Dean, Dion and Monkeyglove Matt about Rom and what it means to them, and a bit about how we made the film.
Oh dear. So hello and welcome. What a little pleasure. How many times we tried to do this podcast? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, too many times.
We're here really to basically do our new podcast channel called Helmets Must Be Worn, which Matt invented.
Well, I can't take all the... do a bit of a backstory as to how it's come about.
Because I think Dion knows this story as well, because I think we remember the guy.
He has forgot his
when we were at Rom one day,
Right.
a guy comes in, he was saying about history or taking pictures, and he said that the Mad Dog Bowl, the wall from the Mad Dog Bowl, is still there.
The sign's still there.
And it's still there, yes. But I thought it said helmets must be worn. But I went there, and the very night we discussed it, I went there, and it's safety equipment must be worn. I think I've forgotten what it was now. But it was always there on the written on. It's still written on the wall in faint thingy.
I could tell you who that bloke was as well.
Who was it?
Seth Gittins. It was either Seth or Mark Maulders.
No, I don't think it was either of them.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it was even. I think it was, because I know both of them very well. It was neither of them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So who was it then?
Oh, it's just a dude who turned up at the...
Reveal thyself, oh stranger from the past.
I keep thinking of Rob, not Air Farmer Rob, but Gravedigger Rob.
Oh,
But I don't think it was him. Was it?
Yeah. No, he wouldn't have known about it.
No, it wasn't him, but it was a character who turned up and reminded me of him and then spoke about that. You didn't skate there, did you?
Yeah.
How often?
Rarely, about 3 times I think I went there, 2-3 times.
Rom wasn't open when Mad Dog was, and when Mad Dog closed, Rom came after.
No.
78 was Rom, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Rom was 78. I think Mad Dog was a year before. Mad Dog shut in 1980.
Right.
Because John's brother decided to nick some of the skate park and build squash courts. But he built the squash courts too small. So they didn't come up, so they got to be like a regulation size, didn't they, to play a game of squash. And they weren't. They thought, oh, we build them smaller and cram more in. But it never worked. So it all just went,
We built tennis courts the size of table tennis tables and then wondered why no one wanted to play.
You got it? Wonder why we keep breaking windows.
We're here because of you two, the two famous Matts.
Well, I think it's probably all 4 of us. I think it's a collaborative. Yeah. Well, this wouldn't be happening without you, Dean. So it's all your fault.
I watch it and I get my kids to watch it. There's only a little piece of me in it. I mean, I was done some great tricks in the day. You could have had them all in there.
Yep.
No, you didn't.
Matt, this was your baby mainly though, but I'm a bit confused actually because I know that you started the Rom Chronicles years before, and then you kind of took the project and finished it, Matt.
Yeah, well, I mean, the story that I always tell everyone is that I was looking to take my daughter on a little scooter somewhere, and I thought, I wonder if Rom's still open. And so I went over one Sunday, and I remember specifically Dion was there, Spencer was there, and I just couldn't believe, it was still there, and it was all full of these 50-year-old blokes skateboarding, and there was no kids there. But anyway, so Emma, we had a great time. I remember Spencer was the first person I spoke to. He came up to me, really friendly, and then and I had a chat, and then sort of came back the next week with Emma, and then came back, and then I thought, I'm going to get a board again, and then got a board.
What did you get, Matt?
I got a Hazoi.
The hammerhead.
Hammerhead, because I had that as a kid, so I just bought one of those again. And I remember you rode it actually. You came over and you had a ride on it, yeah. And so then I got talking, and I think Dion, you told me, we got talking. You said, the place is listed. And then I thought, oh, must be, skate park full of 50-year-old blokes, only listed one in the world. You said, you got to speak to Ian Borden. So I rang Ian Borden up, and he told me the story. And then I thought about it for months and months. I thought, wonder if there's a film in this. And then Ian's like, yeah, I think there is. And then that was the start of it. And then someone said, you need to speak to Matt. And then somehow, I don't know when I saw you, but
yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember. But then when we realised that Matt used to skate my quarter pipe.
Yeah, in your driveway.
In my driveway.
You're joking.
Yeah.
When we
back
were
in the 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
But so you unknowingly know Matt?
Yes.
So did you know his name?
Yes. Yeah, because of his dad with the Harris coaches stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I obviously had no recollection of Matt, because why would you?
yeah.
It's fair that you don't remember each other's names, because it's complicated, Matt and Matt.
Yeah.
Two Matts.
Yeah, we didn't need
No, it wasn't the name, it was just the person.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, so then Matt said, well, I've got all this footage that I shot. I don't know, it was 2000s or something, maybe? I can't remember.
Definitely early 2000s. Yeah.
And so you gave me that, and I looked at it, and I thought, a lot of the guys like Dion was on it, and loads of you were on it, and loads of people. And I thought, well, now I've got the archive stuff that we can kind of do updated interviews of everyone today, and then kind of cut it. And I thought, now we've got something, because that was the key thing. So if you hadn't have done that, it wouldn't have been anywhere near. Just wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, well, I was filming anyway, just filming skating, but then obviously kind of from going to Rom in the 80s, and then kind of not going to Rom for years, and then getting back there in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. But then for me, it was Rolling Through the Decades came out, Winston Whitter's film. Then when Rom was in that, but it didn't really kind of talk about Rom in any great detail from memory, and it was sort of like, actually there's a bit of a story here, and at the time it was that whole kind of period of the Dogtown film had come out, so you were kind of getting the even older guys than 50 that were kind of coming back out again, but you had like generations of people there at the time. You had like, I don't know, like little Andrew Markku, Papadopoulos, 13 or a gnarly kid, Tom Hole, his brother.
Now what skaters they are now? Well, actually, maybe not now, because they've passed it.
Yeah, but maybe they'll find themselves getting back into it.
Yeah.
Skateboarding has a way of kind of bringing people back in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even if they try and get away from it. but I think that whole. So I started to kind of go, well, actually, there's this story should be told.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the guy to make it. Matt was. And when he contacted me, because I remember thinking, I've got all this footage, I'd love people to see it, but actually this is such a difficult task. Yeah, so I was like, go for it. You can, you can have it.
How did you do it? Because Matt, you got to sit and watch all this dreadful.
Mostly Dean stuff.
No, I know, but when people film stuff, there's loads of dead stuff, isn't it? It's just hours.
Someone can see that are never made.
How many hours of footage was there?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, a hell of a. I mean, DV8 tapes. Just hundreds of tapes.
And you got to find the cream bits of that.
Yeah, I remember talking to you when I was. I must have been 2 years into it or something. I specifically remember you kind of asking me about it, and you were just saying, "Oh, it's going to be really hard because like skate films, to make something good." And I really do remember that conversation, because it always stuck in the back of my mind. It's like, I've got to make this really good. Got to I just, I haven't watched a load of skateboard films, and I haven't stayed with it, but it was never about that. It was always about the people.
Yeah.
It was about Dion's and the Spencer and everyone, this community of people and the mixture, like Ian Borden, Professor of Architecture, and Dion the scaffolder, and just all coming together skateboarding, and that was it. It's like this community. So that was always the thing,
Ian used to turn up in his Lotus, didn't he? He used to turn up in a convertible Lotus. But Ian's a great
He had a Lotus and a Jakhazi, and I had a skateboard and a Jakhazi. That's the difference.
Oh, dear. Ian's a proper old classic skater. I was thinking of Fred for a second there as well, because I miss old Fred. Because Fred was a great skater. I mean, really. I really used to like watching
lost
Fred.
his way, hasn't he?
Well, no, we all get older, Dion. I don't know if he's older than me. I mean, no one's older than you, apart from Graham's maybe older than you.
No, he's younger than me. He's 2 years younger than me. So
Right.
He'd be about the same age.
What you notice as well at our age is if you have a period, I'm noticing it now, if you have a period where you don't skate, your legs turn a little bit to jelly. You don't have that kind of leg strength and you can come unstuck a little bit.
Massively. Yeah, that confidence thing and just,
I think it's what you develop, like a sense of consequence. You're looking at it thinking, if I fall off, I want to really get served here.
Which is the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, when you're 40,
you shouldn't be thinking about falling off.
30, you just go charging in, don't you? You know, it's like you just don't think.
Yeah. Well, we could repair ourselves basically. We're hoping for medical advances now that help us repair.
I could be 180, couldn't I?
You look it.
Not far off it.
Yeah. Bum, bum. So, what was these words of wisdom that I gave you then?
It was just about. It was just. I remember you questioning me that you were like, really skeptical. You were really skeptical about. Who's this bloke? Never heard of him. It's coming.
You was standing there with a 1980s VHS thing that had a big tape on the side. I think I'm not sure if he's up with the times.
But that's that was a hard thing because you come into this community that are very close knit, and it's like who's this bloke? Like thinks he's going to make a film about this skate park. Do you know what I mean? And it's like that's why I didn't pull the camera out for months and months, and I got a skateboard, started skating, fell off. Fractured my shoulder within the first 2 weeks.
Then you were kind of in then.
Then I'm in. Yeah.
We've seen him hurt himself.
Yeah.
But, so you got to, but that was, you couldn't just, it's not a place, because also you got to kind of befriend everyone.
Yeah.
So that when you do pull the camera out and you got, they know who you are and they're not stiff and.
It was a friendly place.
It's a really friendly place.
Apart from Graham.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Graham was actually, when you turn up, Graham's a peacock, isn't he? So when you turn up, as soon as you turn up and you turn up, you've got a board in your hand. Graham, and it's the peacock goes out.
Yeah.
Then he gets his look ready, doesn't he? And then he'll skate something and throw something down and come walking out, peacocking with the chest. And then the guy who walks in can't even skate. And then Graham was threatened by it, wasn't he, for a minute?
Then he come to pick his 11-year-old kid up. The best one was when a lady walked through the door. Then the feathers would come out.
No, the best one was, do you remember that little mini ramp that was over the back behind the clovers?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Me and him were skating that, and Graham was by the top of the pool. And this woman walked in with her kid. And he turned around and said, watch him take his shirt off. And it's as he said it, we was in. And he looked across at us, didn't he? And we were both laughing. And he knew straight away, didn't he, what we was laughing at.
We've got to give him some ribbing as much as we love him. So
he'd only do the same.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean? Oh, for years that was catchphrase. What do you mean? Oh, well, anyway, Matt, you did make an historical masterpiece.
Thank you.
But your background is film.
Yeah.
So, it was easy for you.
Well, it wasn't easy. No, it really wasn't easy. 5 years from sort of start to finish.
Well, you've bought a new hat, so you must have done well.
He's got a new shirt as well, actually.
Yeah,
I've not seen that shirt before.
Have you not seen that?
Things are looking good.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest, like a 5-year period, what was the kind of biggest challenge, I guess?
Well, we spoke a lot about it, and it's just not knowing where because most skate films are just skateboarding. There's no real narrative or beginning, middle, and end. So it was like there was loads of middle, but there was no kind of ending, and that was the struggle that we talked about. It's like, you got all these great people, but where's the story? You need like the
hook,
Jeopardy or the Jeopardy.
Like
a film, you always want Jeopardy. That's the big word. And so it wasn't until they had the fire at Rom.
Still can't believe it's gone, to be honest. Nightmare. But it was like roaring, about a good 150 foot up in the air, the flames. This ramp was built in '99. And we just got some heritage lottery funding. Sod's law is, as we got that funding to help us clear the space and promote the park, now this fire's happened. And it's hard. We've been here 40 years, we want to be here for another 40 years, This was our only indoor bit. When it's raining, they've got nowhere to go. Bit of a kick right in the teeth, really. People come here and they love it. Riding around this park on anything wheeled, it's fun. So hopefully we can get some help in some way of helping us clean this up and getting this back to a decent state where people can use the place. There's so many free parks around the country, it's spreading it so thin. I think we're probably one of, if not the only, privately run skate park in England. If we don't get some help here, we might be in trouble and the place could go in complete disrepair, to be quite honest.
That suddenly the story kind of right now there's a
you never did pay me for that to get the end of the movie.
But then it's like right now we've got a story, because now it's kind of like, how does it come back? How does Rom, which was struggling anyway, come back from this fire? You know, and so that was the big turning point. So, but that was like 4 years into it. So it was, you know, it's a difficult.
I can't. As I said to you, I obviously had very good foresight, because I don't think I would have the stamina for a 4 or 5 year project. That's a lot of work. And going through footage, I couldn't think of anything more boring of going through footage. Even just from editing podcasts is bad enough, having to watch the podcast again and remove the dead stuff and then make the finished product.
I think it's something you said though, from when it's years, so many years later, and you go back, you know, and you critique it, don't you? And I remember them, and yeah, that guy, and that happened, and
you almost look at it with fresh eyes, don't you?
Yeah.
But since then, you've become a world-renowned skate photographer.
I wouldn't say that.
I would. I'd say it.
Yeah,
Again, my value of my pictures will go up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, for me, I think it was. So I remember it's interesting. Bit of a sort of side note to it all, but I guess it all ties in. So I actually picked up my dad's film camera, and I've got photos that I took at Rom. Bill Danforth and the other guy that skated with him, Jeff Hartzell. Yeah, it was Jeff Hartzell at Rom, and then there were other people there that took photos, and they're in my photo, and I'm in their photo. So it's like Mark Munson and stuff like that. You know, I think Pete King as well. There's a few others, but it's kind of, do you know what I mean? It's like
how far back's that? Because the Munson era, it kind of gives it a date.
So those, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, but that Jeff Hart, no, because that Jeff Hart would have been, I'd say, guess 86, something like that.
Well, Mark Munson was going back to 86.
Yeah. Mark stood around the top of the pool. Yeah.
He would have been a kid.
Yeah, we were all kids. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we were all kids, definitely. Yeah, and so then it was interesting, sort of taking photos then. But actually, what I ended up kind of getting into was the video side of things, and that was because I wasn't very good at skating. I liked the kind of I suppose the visual element interested me, and I got a video camera, and then you filmed your friends skating. You sort of, and that was, you documented, you know, you going out and doing stuff, and then, but obviously that lends itself into kind of the reason picking up the camera again and then videoing and documenting all those.
You've enjoyed that a lot more. So, I love your photos.
Yeah, really. My number one fan.
I am a fan, but I am
buy some more prints.
Fan of I'm a fan of people that are a part of it. I will buy more prints. I will, because no one else is going to buy them.
but I think it's that thing, isn't it? That, and it's that sort of documenting it, and basically just enjoying it, isn't it? But for me, it's like now it's an extension of skateboarding. It's where I roll around now, but that's all I do.
You when you roll around, sorry, I don't believe you just roll around. Give me the extent to what you actually go to now would be your extreme.
My extreme, probably hitting the coping with a grind or a 50-50.
On a mini ramp.
Yeah, on a 4-foot bowl. You know, it's because it is. I just, you know, like, because that's the thing. You kind of otherwise you're going and you spend all that time trying to get something that you used to do. Yeah, and then you get it and you go, well, actually didn't feel that great. Do you know what I mean? But for me now, every kind of couple of weeks, if I don't feel a board underneath my feet, like at the weekend, I was out taking some photos, and I just quickly grabbed the board, put it under my feet, and just pushed down the street a little bit. And I'm like, yeah,
I've skated.
That feeling of what that is enough. But the photographing is definitely an extension of that. So I want to be able to keep doing that. It's like keeping a hand in skateboarding without skateboarding.
Well, we got a classic little story, Matt, haven't we, with the your friend who was working. I came back to England and just jumped in a cab. I took one of my friend's cabs and I did some work. And I go to Liverpool Street and something was down. There was chaos. And
normally happens when you're on the road.
I know, everything's crashed.
That's your driving day.
Yeah. Who knows how these things start? Chaos. Disaster move behind him. He's like...
anyway, this guy comes out and he jumps in the back of the cab. I don't know why. I don't talk to anyone normally. We started talking and he said something and I said, I don't normally drive a cab. I said, I teach people the knowledge. I just stole this tonight and I'm just popping out. And he says, so I'm just, and he was going to South Woodford. I think he lives South Woodford. Take him there. And we've got to sit in the traffic. And he says, so what do you do then? I said, I live in Turkey. And he says, oh, what do you do out there? And I said, just me and the kids go skateboarding. He said, oh, you're a skateboarder. My mate's made a skateboard movie. I said, your mate's made a skateboard movie? I said, what, really? He said, yeah. I said, I'm in it. He went, no. And it was really like, it was Twilight Zone. I don't ever work. And the guy I pick up, and he was filming that day, I think, for Casualty.
Oh, was he? Oh, no, I think he'd come back from...
He was down in Camberwell filming an ambulance.
Right.
I just remember something about ambulances, and I think it was Casualty.
Right.
Would that make sense? And then you phoned me, didn't you, recently?
Yeah.
We spoke, and he said, because was his name Matt as well?
No, Harvey.
If we're going to get into history, you used the ambassador as your historian. Yeah. Everywhere we skated, and another little things come to mind, we skated Laguna Beach, and that was where they was playing Do You Come From Land Down Under? As well.
That was Lake Forest.
Sorry, it was Lake Forest.
The Etnies Park.
They had the Keyhole pool.
Yeah.
When we were skating there, there was a big open reservoir, really high banks, really nice.
Yeah.
You named everybody.
Did I?
I'm skating a mini ramp with someone who's got red hair. And he skates away and we're mucking about. And I said, oh, that was really good. You're really good. Yeah. And he went to me, he went, really, thanks. I'm really thinking. He strolled away and Dion come over. Yeah, you know who that was? I said, no. Who was it? That's Sean White.
Oh, that's right. You was there with Kevin Starb, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's who I thought it was, Kevin Starb.
You thought it was Starb? No, it was Sean White. Starb was there. Yeah. Sean White at the time. He was
a kid. He was probably
10 or 11.
Yeah, right. Yeah, probably was.
But you knew him as a 10 or 11-year-old.
Yeah.
You'd already picked up on him.
Yeah.
And I saw him again later on the Tony Hawk Secret Skate Tour. But on that particular day, there was the vert ramp right next to us.
Yep. That's
it's
the
a big
YMCA.
Yeah, the YMCA vert ramp, yeah.
About 12 foot, which was big for the time.
Yeah, so he's doing bailing on them and trying to land them. He was doing about 5 foot fakey airs on that and bailing on them as a 10 or 11-year-old, we're guessing. I mean, we could work out his age. This must be 2002.
Yeah, it was 2002. But better than that, do you remember there was a kid there, a tiny little kid, 5 years old, at YMCA on that vert ramp. He was trying to learn to drop in. And Kevin Starb said to him, touch the front of the board, the nose of the board. So God's honest truth, he dropped in, holding the nose of the board, went down, across and up the transition, still holding the nose of the board. It's just incredible.
Yeah, he made it. Yeah. Well, that reminded me now when you said of the kid, because I had the video of this. I should have gave you the hours of videos I had, because we was at Vans Orange, and I said to this kid, what's your name? He said, Timmy. And how old are you, Timmy? 5. And I'm not joking.
He was dropping in a combi, wasn't he?
He was doing front side, back side, any air you liked, all over. Yeah. Couldn't come off it. It was like stuck to glue.
What year was that? What year was that?
2002. So he'd be 27 now. We have to.
Yeah, but that's how crazy it is even now, isn't it? It's like it's you look at the contest now. The kids are just ridiculous 900s, back to back, and they're like 7 or 8 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Has that been done? What you just said?
Yeah.
Back to back 900s.
Yeah.
One vert wall to the other vert wall, 900, 900.
That's it.
I'm out of touch. Yeah. I ain't done a 900 for years.
Although your laybacks are pretty.
Well, they're way backs.
Pretty awful.
But
have you ever landed one?
Yeah, in the quarter pipe, in the mini ramp.
Bollocks.
I'm not being funny. The only reason I couldn't land it is because none of you could show me how to do it. That was it. And I've kept thinking to myself, if someone knew how to do it,
So it's our fault. It's everyone else's fault.
All that time, where are we going wrong?
dear. Well, it was a Graham trick, wasn't it? So a woman would turn up and I think, all right, throwing a lay back.
Yeah, exactly. That was your peacock.
I fell off.
That was your peacock.
He couldn't
Yeah.
do them either, could he?
No, he'd never come anywhere near him.
If you come close.
We taught him to drop in 2002.
We did.
That was
Right.
in the States, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
You got it on video. He wouldn't drop in.
No,
do
he
you
wouldn't
remember?
drop in.
He climbed down, didn't he?
Yeah.
Pushed up that.
But you brought me on back into skateboarding, and I have to thank you for that, because when I turned up at Rom like you turned up, he gave me a board.
It was a think.
It was a
It was
thing.
a silver board, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Think board, yeah.
Yeah, you gave me that, and then you said, like, come back. And we kind of didn't remember each other, but did remember.
When was that? That was 2000?
It would be 2000, maybe 1990. No, it wouldn't be even 1999. It'd have to be 2000.
So did you know each other before that?
Kind of.
point?
Because I don't know if you was at Rom in the 80s. In the 70s.
No.
It was horrible. If you weren't a Rom local, which I am now, kind of a Rom local, I would say,
Right.
definitely. But then I'm a Mile End boy. This is my area.
Yeah.
So we would skate Mad Dog Bowl, and then we had to gravitate towards going to Rom. And those guys, they all had the best gear. They all I lived in a council estate. I know you're from a similar background, but the people who lived around Elm Park, I thought they were billionaires. They had driveways, and
They had matching shoes.
yeah,
and all sorts, didn't they?
they had wheels and grip tape on their boards. And I turned up, honestly, I had my one skateboard that I got for Christmas, and it was an Alva 8-inch, ironically being the better size, because everybody wanted the Alva 10-inch. But if you was a small kid, and boards are basically your shoe size is what they should be, and the 10 inches were massive for a kid.
Yeah.
So I'd actually made the good choice. The Bel Air wings. I turn up at the skate park, and my Alva is dated. They are now taking the piss out of me completely, because it's the only skateboard I've ever had and only could afford. But they were all progressing through the.
So what were they riding then? What was the latest thing?
It was probably like early Santa Cruz and Pal Peralta, wasn't it?
It was the Pal Peraltas, yes. There was a lot of Pal Peralta going on. It wasn't the Hossai era that seemed to come.
That was a little bit after, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
But I was really jealous of all the gear they had.
And what year was this?
1979, 1980?
No, earlier.
It's in the 70s.
Earlier.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it has to be earlier than that, because
By
I would.
81, Ron was on its arse. It was.
Yeah, I was 11, 12. 11 and 12, and I think after 13, 14, skateboarding had kind of moved away, and we kind of stopped. And
Well, I was quite surprised that the event that we went to, the London Calling event, and obviously I know bits about that era, but I wasn't sort of in that era and aware of it at the time. But how quick it was! Like there was like the boom, and it was like 1-2 year period and gone again. It was like, but so much happened in such a small space of time.
Yeah.
I found that quite
Me and Dean have probably got different memories of that, haven't we? Because people, I remember when that was being announced, we're going to do this show, and they're, you're going to go. I remember thinking about it, and I thought to myself, no, I'm not, because at the time, a lot of those guys that were there weren't really very nice to be around, like Mark Baker and people like that. They weren't really that nice to be around.
Was that from the sort of surf thing though? You know, like that kind of like locals only surf thing.
prima donna style, wasn't it?
Really elitist, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
If you weren't part of the Alpine Sports or Slick Willie scene, forget it.
Yeah.
It was really like that, wasn't it? It was quite.
Yeah. Well, it's
quite harsh.
It's funny that thing because like there was that thing of when, like now, skateboarding has never been so sort of welcoming as it is.
No
now.
idea. Now it's lovely.
You know what I mean? And it's been like that
100%.
for quite a long time. But it used
Remember Andy Peerless? He was the first British sponsored skateboarder before he went to roller skates.
What a roller skater.
Yeah, but he was because he worked at Alpine Sports, so he knew everyone. But everywhere he went, people used to ridicule him because he didn't fit in.
He was massive, but what a roller skater.
like you say, there was that that kind of like it was a clicky thing, really clicky.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I remember going to. Did you ever go Skate City?
Was that a sign of the times though? Like because you were saying like Mile End boy, going to Hornchurch, because back then it was like areas. It was almost like postcode wars sort of thing, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? It was.
We were poor. Elm Park. You got to admit. Look at Elm Park.
Oh yeah.
If you lived at Elm Park then, for me, honestly, I thought they were
I
rich.
can remember in the late 80s it being like that, like thinking wow,
Now it's
there's
not.
there's a lot of dough around here. You know what
I don't consider it to be that now, do you? Because there's a lot of people they're the cheap
Well,
seats.
no, well, I've got money now, so I'm.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you live here now and you've got an apartment here, it's worth more than a house that's in Elm Park now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
here we was
Swings
all born
it,
on council estates. The snobbery, it was quite bad. And when you went to Rom, the locals didn't want to be part of you, and you had to skate on your own. And I would go there, and I loved skateboarding so much. I was basically skateboarding on my own, and none of them wanted to be part of you because I haven't got the gear.
I think the only people that were friendly, I can remember becoming quite good friends with Winston May.
Yes.
And Fred.
I don't remember Fred.
That's the only two
Winston
that I
was
thought-
actually really good.
He was really good. He was probably, I'd say, the best out of that era.
Yeah.
Rom.
And the nicest.
And the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Because he just didn't really care.
Yeah.
You know, and but all that other lot, Robbie Hunter and Big Tall Paul and all that, they were really, really, they were good and they knew it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and it weren't a nice vibe. And it didn't. I'd like to think when we were at Rom, like you say, when the likes of Pops turned up and Gnarly Kid and the Hull Brothers, we helped encourage them. We never, there was never any, say bullying, but there was never any sort of.
Was it really busy there then? Like in that time,
At one point, I mean, at one point, I remember
there was a scene, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember going to skate the pool, and you'd be queuing up, and it'd be like there might be 10 people. You'd go in, and someone would get in your way, and you go like that, and you'd have to go back to your queue again. And they used to do the badges, didn't they? Do you remember?
Oh, that's back in
That's like
a long time back.
Yeah. I mean, on the wall of the the bullet, the section of wall that they cut down was slightly lower, and they used to put a Coke can on it. If you could knock it off, you got your badge type of thing. But
yeah, you're going back again to the 70s, all that kind of stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah,
because Skate City had the similar badge system, the Black Run, they called it.
Mad Dog Bowl did. They all did it. They all had that kind of badge system, didn't they?
I wonder where that came from.
What? Trying to give credit to someone, that medalist type.
Yeah, I wonder where that was.
When Rom opened, you had marshals.
Yeah.
Marshals on duty, weren't there? You had a nurse full time. You had like the canteen. You should get like
Monster
chips
Munch
and stuff, and all that nonsense. But the worst thing ever about Rom in them days was the sound system. I don't remember because they had those little red speakers on the top of all the lampposts.
Yeah,
and they'd play music used to be played through the jukebox, but it used to bounce around, so you couldn't hear it. It'd be like
like a delay.
Yeah, like a delay as it went round the speakers. It was terrible.
Because there's that picture, isn't there? That great picture of Lance in the half pipe on the doing a tail tap on the top of the thing on that. That must have been 79, I think, when he was there.
Probably, yeah.
And he's still got that board when I filmed it with that board, and it's like a flat.
He'd made it himself.
It's
a Union Jack painted on
Yeah, it's amazing.
Talking about the skaters being like unfriendly, my local is Victoria Park as well as Mile End. I took my daughter over Victoria Park, and it's a nice park, and there's a shallow bit, little banks, no higher than a couple of foot banks, and I'm in there holding my daughter on her board, 2 hands, dragging her around. Remember, she's 3 and 4 years old. And there's a guy about 24 bolting into this little section, doing some kickflip trip onto the coping, and he comes to me and he says, "Listen, mate, it's really dangerous in here." And I'm looking at him thinking, yeah, look, it is really dangerous in here. I might not have a skateboard, but I've been skateboarding nearly 40 years, and there is an etiquette, and it's called that while the kids are here, which is the shallow area, you're the one looking out for them. They don't get out your way, you get out their way. If you want to do this stuff, there's a bowl there. Drop in, go over there and skate here when it's empty. But he was as if he was telling some dad who's with his kid who doesn't know anything about skateboarding that you shouldn't be in this area. But this is how people skate. They learn to skate, and it gave me the right ump.
Which is quite rare because, like I was saying earlier, that's a lot of that's changed, isn't it? Like
that's maybe again though coming East End a little bit. I don't get it with any of them. I don't think Victoria Park is a real park yet. I started to know a lot of the skaters there, but where it's kind of a little bit fragmented, you need a little bit of a scene.
Yeah,
you need a core of people, don't you?
Yeah, and then that core that people kind of
they police it, don't they? That's the thing. That's what happens. It's sort of like But that guy, for me, was so obnoxious and so wrong about his idea about what he thought. I'm a skateboarder.
and the kids should be out of the way. This is a dangerous place for kids. I know it's a dangerous place for kids. It's a dangerous place for adults like yourself.
I can understand it if you were kind of like in the deep part of the bowl on the flat, like, you know.
Well, we know,
but you're not, you know.
The rule for us, Matt, would be if you can't drop in, you ain't going in there.
No, exactly. Yeah,
so if my daughter can drop in there, she's going in.
Yeah,
but a good skater would stand back and wait.
Yeah.
But you're standing there waiting while some kid climbs to the bottom, and no, that's not on, mate. Don't let your kid do that. Go and skate over there and do that when you can.
I think that's one of the cool things about Rom's. You know, the last few years, I remember like on a Wednesday, we'd be on a Wednesday evening, you know, and like you go to the top of the slalom thing, and everyone, like, it'd be the whole generations of kids all the way up to, you know, you guys, and just doing all right, and it was just brilliant. It was just like,
do you remember those doing those? That's such good memories.
Yeah,
snake run.
Well, the snake run, but that just what Matt says, going down the
slalom and into the moguls, and
there were different lines, weren't there? There was things like going through the snake, through the moguls.
Yeah.
Go through the moguls, into the
Rude
tits, we
Hullet.
used to call
Yeah.
it. Go over the tits, wasn't it? In the middle.
Now you see, you do that, your legs give way.
We had that line dialed, didn't we? For
yeah,
well,
well, that's in the film.
Yeah,
you two
Is
doing it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at the end, isn't it? It's at the end. I think, it's a bit when you're on. It's a pair of you going through. Yeah.
So he's probably dozed off by then.
Yeah,
But did you fly to Los Angeles and interview Lance Mountain?
Yeah.
So that would have been a nice trip. Where was that? Was that his house?
No, it's a funny story actually, because so for 3 years I sort of tried to do it, and I got his details from Seth Ginnings, because he skated with him in Mad Dog Bowl
back with Lewisham as well.
Lewisham,
I think
yeah,
Lewisham
exactly. Yeah. So that's where they kind of met. So I got his email, emailed him, said, "Do you want to do this interview about Rom?" And he was like, "Yeah." Like his emails were always like one word, "Yeah." That was it. And so this sort of went on, and then it was getting to the end of the film. I was like, I've got to go and film Lance. I said, "Look, I'm going to fly over. Do you want to? You still up for it?" It's like email back, "Yeah." He goes, "Well," and then that was it. And then 2 weeks later, I booked the flights and everything, and I'm like, "I'm flying in Friday. Are you still up for it? Definitely up for it." He goes, "Yeah." And then so I get to LA and I land, and this is Saturday morning. I was like, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm in Venice. You know, have you thought about a place where we can do this interview yet?" And he's like, "No." and so I'm like, I'm the whole time thinking, "Yeah, I've flown here. He's just going to be a flaky skateboarder, and he's not going to turn up, and I'm going to go home with nothing." And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Fuck, where can we do it?" And I said, "Have you thought of anywhere yet?" Another email. He's like, "Oh, I'm still thinking." And I've got this Airbnb that I've found, and it was really cool. And in the room that I had was full of skateboards, and I was sitting out in this patio, sort of typing this email to him. And I looked, and I'm like, "Oh, this is it. This is where I'm going to shoot. This is amazing." Like the background, the shot that you see of where Lance is was exactly where I was sitting looking out at. So I emailed him, I said, "Look, I've got an Airbnb. Will you come to Venice and do it tomorrow, 11 o'clock? And he just writes back, "Yeah." And so I speak to the owner. I said, "Look, I've got this skateboarder coming down. Can I just, use this place to do this interview?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So I thought, he's never going to turn up. But sure enough, there he was, 11 o'clock. Rings me up, he goes, "I'm here," and that was it.
Wow.
And it was brilliant. I mean, no one's seen the full interview, because it's like about 2-3 hours.
You're joking.
No.
well, why don't you put that out as a thing on its own?
Mic drops down and all that.
It was just brilliant though, And I asked him, I said, we sort of joked about it. I said, I thought you were going to be one of these flaky skateboarders and blow me out and just not turn up. He said, and he goes, "No, because my dad kind of instilled in me this kind of work ethic. So if you say you're going to do something, you kind of do it."
Lance is, without doubt, the nicest skateboarder out there.
We met him in Chino, didn't we? Do you remember?
3 times. We met him at Vans Orange.
Yeah, we met him a few times. Yeah.
The Chino one was funny.
Yeah.
Bubba is with us, and he's had a tattoo, Bubba, and he feels a bit sick from the tattoo. So he's sitting in the car. Skate park's empty. Me and Dion turn up. We're going to skate park. Lance turns up, starts skating. Me, Dion, and Lance are skating this clover kind of thing, and having we're chatting. We took photos afterwards and everything else. We go back to the car. And Paul's still sitting there. We said, "Paul, we're just skating all day with Lance, man, and you stay in the car." And he's like, "Was he really?" We said, "Yeah."
Do you remember we went out to Palm Springs and we met Steve Olsen?
Yes.
The following day, it was our last day. We was coming home, so we went back. We were going to go to our last day, so we went back to Chino, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And it was like busy. And then Steve Olsen turned up, and everyone's going, "Oh man, look, there's Olsen, there's Olsen." And he went,
"Hey guys,
Dion." So we're like, "Yeah, sweet."
Oh, and
talking about celebrities, the best one was at Rom, right? there was a woman that used to bring her kid over, and I had her convinced that he was Bobby Davro's brother. Do you remember?
I didn't know he was Bobby Davro's brother. I thought he was Bobby Davro.
No. She said, I said, he looks like Bobby Davro, doesn't he? And she's like this. Yeah. I said, his name's Dean Davro. And she said, is he an actor?
Brilliant.
I went, he's a porn star. She went, yes. About 10 minutes later, she said, what sort of films does he do? You don't want to know. The most fucking heinous, disgusting films.
But you've done that a lot with all sorts of people.
Oh, and Andy, with you know Andy, like American Andy,
Non-American Andy.
non-American Andy. When Dean first came over, and Andy said to me, "Oh, who's that guy?" He'd gone off, I think, and he said, "Who's that guy?" I said, "Oh, it's Dean." He said, "Where's he from?" So he's from East London. Oh, is he married? I went, "Yeah, he's got a Thai bride." He went, "Like, you know how sort of piece he is." I said, "Yeah, he sort of ordered her over. He's like sort of on the website." He's like, "You're joking?" And for ages, he wouldn't talk to him. And he used to say to me, "What's the matter with that bloke?" I don't know, I got a clue. And then one day we sat there, and Andy said to him, "What's your wife's name?" And he said, "Oh, Annetta." And he went, "That's not very Thai, no, is it?" And he's like, straight away, "What the f*** are you doing?" And it went on for ages. And then we had Dave Maddox convinced that he was gay. And he was after him.
That's not difficult, though, is it?
Mate,
I've always thought that.
That went on for ages, right? And I've got a picture of it somewhere. And we let it go, and Maddox was getting really like antsy about it. And then we went to Shoreham, wasn't it?
Yeah, trip to Shoreham.
There's a big long bench. There's that big long circular bit, like sort of half moon shaped bench. So Maddox has sat down, and there's no one else there. This bench seats about 10 people. So there's no one else there. Maddox has sat down, he's eating something or whatever, and he's just gone and sat right next to him. Dave's like, he did not know what to do, did he?
Oh, dear. We skated there that day with Trawler, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, because I ain't seen him for a long while. We come up to Rom a few times, Trawler, and that was his local. Shoreham is his local.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, he's Plymouth way, isn't he?
He's Plymouth way, yeah.
Well, we met him there, and that's a really easy pool to skate.
What, Shoreham?
Shoreham, yeah. It was.
I don't think it's easy, but I think they got the geometry right with it and everything.
Yeah.
It works, doesn't it?
You don't
get used to it. It's like
you compare it
harsh drop in and
compare it to Rom's.
It's got a nice pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That little
deep
whipping,
end.
yeah.
You don't have to stretch too much to get up on the top.
No.
Like it just it does flow easily.
You don't have to stretch too much to get 2 foot down from the cable.
No.
But we used to do, like you say, do a lot of that piss taking and setting each other.
It was like the cup on the helmet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Polystyrene cup on the helmet.
That's a classic, isn't it? That's a classic, isn't it? I seem to remember getting Matt.
You got everyone.
I think so, yeah.
Even we got you.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I've got footage of
I was slacking that day.
Yeah.
The best one, who's it we got? Ian Bolden. And he was going, I'll get a shot of us getting the front side grind. And I've done the cut, and we're all laughing. And I think it must have been you filmed him. And he's going, let's have a look back. Then he's gone. And then he realised it.
But you done a media studies course, didn't you, of some sort, Elephant and Castle, back in the day?
Yeah.
So you don't ask Dion to film or take a picture of anything, because it's
That course didn't work.
It didn't work. But worse than that was Andy.
Hold up a minute.
Go on.
It's not the film, sometimes it's the subject. I mean,
well, maybe true. I mean, I don't actually
Blame
do
his
anything.
tools there, I think.
No, we went to San Diego skate park, a hot day, and Andy, we gave Andy the camera, film and take pictures, Andy, right? So we're skating. I'm thinking he's going to take pictures. He's taking pictures of butterflies in the trees, and he's doing the
Has he been on the same
Richard
media course? That
I remember you having a go at him, and I couldn't stop laughing.
He's like, why are you you're in there taking pictures of butterflies on plants and stuff like you're David Attenborough. We're on a skateboard holiday in San Diego. You
didn't say that at all.
That's what I say.
What the fuck?
That sounds a great trip. How long was that for?
That 2002. Me and him have we done 4 trips? 4 USL, 3.
Oh, really? Wow.
You've done 4 and I've done 4, but we've done 3 together.
We went 3 to California. Mm-hmm. Then we went to the East Coast, didn't we?
Yes.
To New York and
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Rye Airfield.
Yeah. Rye Airfield.
Brooklyn. We skated Brooklyn.
Yeah, Owl's Head. Yeah. That was a trip.
Yeah, we've done some good parks, but that was the Bucky Lassick vert ramp in Rye Airfield.
Yeah.
And Taunton,
Massachusetts. Yeah, that was a really good park, wasn't it?
That was some good old days. You've done loads as well, but you always go Oregon.
Yeah. I 4 times, I think.
All Oregon.
Northwest. Yeah.
Rainy though, isn't it?
They get good summers. But it's a nice part of that. You know, because it's not like California. I know disrespect California, but it's got the change in the seasons. It's kind of but just great parks. I mean, and obviously it's the home of Burnside and all that kind of stuff. So
a good scene there, isn't there?
Yeah.
We didn't never do Oregon. We've missed it.
Me and you went up to Northern California, didn't we? Do you remember?
We've done it at San Francisco. We went
up to Monterey and Carmel.
Sacramento.
That's right. But we went further up, didn't we?
We done. Oh, but that was actually a really good trip.
We did Monterey, Carmel, Santa Cruz.
Yes, Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz was a wonderful park. But I'm remembering now actually the Sacramento skate park. That was big.
That was huge, wasn't it?
And it was a little bit violent.
There was that guy, wasn't there? It was packed. It was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Ramo packed. Everyone's skating around. All of a sudden, this big black guy turned up. He's jumping around, pulling his shirt up. And everyone just went...
He's got a gun.
Just me and him.
We're like, what's happening, Mo?
You are, pal? Me and him, everyone fucking eyed him. Me and silly bollocks.
Yeah, me and Dion went, we come with a shootout! the geezer looked at us and he went, I'm having it on my toes. These two are lunatics.
It was the same at Chino, wasn't it? We went to Chino and like some, I don't know, like Mexican dudes turned up and just walked through the park. Everyone fucked off except for me and you. We just carried on skating because we don't know. And then they went and these other skaters come back and went, oh, you've got to be careful. Went, why? He's from Island up in Custom House.
Yeah. What you talking about?
But we got talking to that gang, that Mexican-looking dude with all the tattoos and tattoos on his face, and because it's a very British thing, you meet someone, you shake hands, don't you? And he was like, "Well, a bit stand-upish," but we got talking to him, and he said, to be honest, he said, I sit on the bench with my daughter and watch the skate. I like to watch the skating, but these guys don't like us. So it's a shame. You know, but
later that night, we done a drive-by, didn't we?
That's it.
No, but Fontana was the worst one for that. Fontana was a scary,
in the sign of the skate park, wasn't there?
And it was the day they opened, wasn't it? We skated Fontana the day they opened, and there was an event. It was mobbed.
Yeah, but I think we went back because there was bullet holes in the actual skateboard sign. Someone had been killed there.
Do you remember that day? There was great skaters there, right? You imagine a skate park where there's nowhere to, everywhere around the coping, there's people standing. This clover was really big, and oh my goodness, you couldn't get in because you had to be really good and brave because they're dropping in, and then there'd be 4 that have dropped in at the same time. 3 have to get out. So 3 of them, and then who gets out? Oh, it was mayhem, and the best skaters were there. Oof. In the end, we just stood back and watched. We went back to Salba's house.
We did. Went to Salba's, didn't we? Yeah,
we went back with Salba, and he was funny. It was a little bit. If me and Dion were different EastEnders, we'd have clumped him because he's a little bit. He's taking a piss out of you subtly and funnily. But I know certain East End guys that would have took that the wrong way and clumped him. Because he's calling us limeys. Yeah, he's calling us limeys and everything else. Right. And he thinks it's funny. And I'm thinking, like, be careful, Salva. My mate Dion will clump you in a minute.
Were you holding him back?
It was funny because we went to his house and he was different. He was like a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he's showing us his guitars and all the rest of it and blah, blah, blah. But he goes to the skate park, puts his pads on, puts his helmet on.
Yeah.
I am Salba.
Yeah, Salba size.
A bit of bravado. And
you think, oh, come on, mate, you're 40 years old. You know,
I can't remember if he prayed or not. I know he had a little ritual, a little thing with his board. And Malbor was there as well.
He was a nice guy, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, but you called him Ratso Rizzo, didn't you?
Yeah, but he shot to bits drug. Like,
well, he wasn't that shot to bits. I don't know if you saw Upland Full Pipe.
That was scary.
Upland Full Pipe,
and stuff, but,
it's enormous. I mean, enormous. So there would be a waterfall dropping from one end, so a bowled end. The far end was a massive bowl.
Yeah.
Then the pipe itself, and then you drop in to about 4 foot, and then you drop in off a waterfall. That if you hit the waterfall straight, you'd take off. It'd be a launch
You have
ramp.
to go at an angle. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
It's a carve up on a hit.
Yeah.
and then before you went into the full pipe, there was a little vert wall that went lower. And again, so I was seeing things for the first time. Malba rode that, and he came out and did a frontside air to disaster on that wall thing. And I was just like, how the hell did he even get that back in? And there was a couple of Mexican kids. Oh, my goodness. They skated like dreams. They were ballerinas. They were dropping in, and they were well on the over.
Mike Cerner's son, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they were just gliding. And a pair of them, they were following each other. So they're here, 10 o'clock, and you can see they were completely compressed. It looked like a dream. And I don't know if you've ever got into the oververt of anything, but you kind of, if you're not used to it, you fall
Quite
off.
a few times, actually. I have.
That was just on the way here.
It was slippery.
It was on the way here.
Exactly. I was like, half an hour ago, mate.
Yeah, it was slippery, wasn't it?
It was as slippery as hell.
Do you remember that Tony B? Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Because he went there, didn't he?
Tony B.
Remember that Tony B? That guy used to turn up everywhere. He had all the gear and he couldn't skate for shit.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember him?
No. I remember the car thief.
He was at that
Chris
that
Russell.
event we were at. He was there. So I haven't seen him for years, but he was there. Yeah.
Well, he went out there just before us on that trip, and he said, "I'm going out. I'm going to go and see Salba," and we were like looking at each other, thinking, "Wow, what are they going to make of you?" And apparently, everywhere he went, everyone's talking about him, and they're saying, "Have you seen that Brit guy?" He turned up at Upland with a full face helmet, right? And he's sitting there and he's cranking his trucks up like that. And he kept going on Salba this, Salba that, right? Salba's turned up and gone, "How you doing?" He didn't even know who he was. And he said, and Salba said to him, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm tightening my trucks up." And he went, "What for?" He went, "Trust me. The bigger the terrain, the tighter you need your trucks." And Salba went, "Okay, good."
I remember that as well. That was classic.
So what about Rom? Who big names then you guys have seen?
The
at
best
Rom?
the best time I ever had at Rom was I was working there, and it was about this time of year, about November time. It was quite cold, and it was about 4 o'clock. I thought I was going to shut up. As I started looking up, the phone went, Jerome from China, and he said, "Oh, can I pop over? I'm round the corner. I've got some guys with me." So, "Oh, go on then. All right, I'll put lights on." And I'm looking, and this minibus turns out, opens the door. John Cardiel,
No way.
Tony Trio,
Yes, I remember you telling us.
Dennis Buznitz, Julian Stranger, a couple of the other anti-hero guys,
Yeah.
and Matthias. And I'm like, "What?" Just sitting there watching them. And Cardiel said to me, "Oh, come and skate with us." I'm like,
You do know I'm not very good.
that was pretty much what I said. I just said, like,
You crack on. I'll be out in a bit.
I've been at it all day.
I can't really do anything. I've got a bone in my leg. But he said, no. He said, I was like, I ain't on your level, because he was doing Smith grinds in the front side Smiths. I'm going to say 5 blocks round. Nobody does that. Matthias was doing inverts and all sorts of madness
Matthias
and
is mad.
stuff.
Because Matthias was the front.
You saw him,
blunts.
didn't you? Skiing.
Yeah.
So he said, "Oh, come and skate. And I ended up having a good skate with them. And they didn't take the piss. They were really, really nice guys. Really nice guys.
We've never skated with any of those that have ever took the piss apart from Salba.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those things,
that
though.
goes back to that generation, about that elitist type of
Yeah.
thing, you know. And Tony Trio, his shoe had just come out.
I always wore them. I was TNTs.
Yeah, the TNTs. And
Wade used to wear them as well, didn't he?
yeah, we can't wrap it up without mentioning Wade.
Oh, lad.
So I was talking to Tony Trio, and I'd seen pictures of the shoe as his first shoe. And I was like, "Oh, they're really good." He went, "Oh, I'll make sure you get some." "Oh yeah, whatever." Like, you know, just think anymore. And Matt Bennett from Vans was there as well, and he said, "Oh, what size do you want?" And I was like, "Whatever." And I didn't think anything more of it. And about a week later, John went, "Oi, it's a fucking parcel here for you. What are you having your mail sent here for?" Oh, whatever. So I've opened it up. It was a pair of shoes, some T-shirts, and that. And really, really, really nice guys.
I was going to say there was that time as well, wasn't it, where you'd get Americans come over,
Yeah.
and they'd bring them to Rom.
Yeah.
They'd all bring them to Rom. You know what I mean? Those transition.
Jason Adams and Chet Childress that time.
Yeah.
They turned up.
I mean, with that time with the Creature lot when we was there, Navarrete,
I've got a set of
Partner,
photos from that.
Stu Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah, that day was amazing. Like Raven Terche,
David Gravett.
Yeah.
Josh Perkins.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Lance obviously skate the pool and Rune Glifberg, but I do like saying like Matthias. Matthias was something else.
Level, wasn't it?
Yeah. Ramers, obviously. You know what I mean? Ben would skate it really well.
He's dead, isn't he, Ben Ramos? He's a Victoria Park guy, isn't he, Ben?
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. It was that thing of where they would be taken to, they'd turn up at Rom and it would be quite random, like last minute, just, oh, we're here, like, you know, because it still is, isn't it? Even though it's in the state it is now, but it's still a proving ground. It's like, you've never been able to just rock up and just do your thing.
Yeah,
it's
you had to earn that,
exactly. You can get seriously hurt. Do you know what I mean? So it's so that was always interesting. And then see, I remember oh god, what was the guy's name now? I'm trying to think. There was Kev McKeown, you know, Kev the Plasterer, and who was the guy that became a doctor?
Tip me tongue.
I'm trying to think
He's
his
a
name.
brain surgeon there.
But he turned up. I remember it was quite one of those like quiet random days, and he walks out the door towards the pool. And he jumped on his board and he pushed along, and then he stopped and he looked over on that hip, that left-hand side hip as you're coming out the door. And then he pushed back, and then he pushed up, and then he backside ollied perfectly.
Just into the pool.
And just landed it like first go sort of thing. But I remember Div as well, even Div.
Div Adams, yeah.
They're like putting his board up, just rolling in and, you know, tearing it up. And
the freaky things you've seen. Well, one of the freakiest things you'll see on that pool is the hair farmer doing the Texas drop-in.
Do you know, I think
I've never understood it.
I'm pretty sure the first time I ever saw Rob, and I think maybe even the first time I met Rob, there was, I don't know, it was
Aaron
a jam.
McSweeney.
That's it.
Sorry.
Well done, mate. Well done, that's what it was, yeah.
I was going through the roller.
I'm glad you got it, 'cause it was bugging me, yeah. And yeah, I remember Rob on a longboard doing grinds in the pool on a longboard and just going like, what the hell's going on
here? What a skateboarder Rob was.
Yeah.
Hank, he was one for the pool.
Hank,
Hank.
Hank's Hollow.
God.
Wow.
Yeah, front side 50-50s, like 4 blocks.
Hank was cumbersome, wasn't he? But just
he just loose, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I remember seeing him trying to get inverts in the pool, and it all went wrong. And he was horizontal, level with the coping. Just fell to the floor. And all we heard was just, ooh, as all the wind just escaped. I think his soul left his body. It was just incredible. And he got up, and he's limping about, glasses all wonky. He just went, and carried on.
He was just carried on playing.
No, he's indestructible, wasn't he? Because he was James Bond, wasn't he? He was for His Majesty's Secret Service. And what another... See, the people we're naming now are legends of the history that we created of a mystery era of older skateboarders that had a scene that began in early 2000s. And there were all these old skateboarders like Hank and the Puffin.
Nick.
And John Hayward.
Yeah.
And Skip.
Yeah.
Nigel Davis.
Nigel.
Nigel Davis.
Gary Steele, James Holland, all that lot.
Yeah.
Really, really good skaters.
And a really good time. And everybody had a good time.
I remember the first time I went back to Rom was 99. I hadn't met Graham or Wade or anyone like that. I'm kind of looking through the gate. I said, oh, that's Simon Skip. I remembered him. Mm-hmm. And he was with James Holland.
Yeah.
I kind of walked in, paid me $5, and I just sort of standing there. How you doing? You all right? And I thought, I'm going to get the piss ripped out of me here. But I didn't.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, hey, what board you got? And all this. Oh, you might want to loosen your trucks up. I just got this board.
Yeah.
I think it's the one I'll give you.
Thanks.
Yeah. That piece of shit. But,
but that was the thing as well with skateboarding. You kind of know what someone can do.
Yeah.
And once you know what they can do, you know when they've done more. And the appreciation of the fact that they've gone further than they could have done. And we don't care how much anyone can do.
If someone walks out smiling, they've had a good time, haven't they? That's what's important.
Can we talk about the greatest British skater that ever was? Who's that?
How do you define great?
Well, we're talking about vert skating rather than
longevity. You got to say Sean Goff.
Well, longevity, definitely Sean Goff. Yeah.
I'd say Lucien Hendricks was a better skater, but then Sean's never stopped, has he?
But I thought Danny Webster was better than both of them.
Yeah, arguable, wasn't it? I mean, there was a crowd of them at the time. Curtis McCann.
Mm-hmm.
They was all good, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were
Rub Machine and all that, yeah.
Yeah, the Crystal Palace sort of clique. They were all really good. Then you had the skaters from like Oxford, Mon Barber, Sean Goff,
yeah,
Paul Atkins.
Yeah,
They were all really good.
Sean's a much nicer skateboarder than he was.
He wasn't really nice to be around. But
No, because he's a little bit prima donna, but he's not now. I think he's now. He's
mellowed down,
he's
but again, that was that thing, wasn't it? We were talking about earlier. There was that. I think that kind of comes from that surf. You know, it's like locals only. It's kind of like, you know, I'm not like you teaching kids to drop in. I'm not going to teach you anything. Like, you got to figure it out yourself. That was a bit the attitude, you know.
There's a lot of attitude in that. I think it was misguided because don't forget, in them days you had no access to information about skateboarding.
Yeah,
you had very few magazines. You had no. It was before the video thing.
No video. Yeah.
So nowadays you can pick your phone up. You know everything about skateboarding in minutes. So. There was a perception of how it was in California. So people here were trying to emulate that.
Yeah.
And it weren't really like that. Unless you was at a really high pro level, the likes of, I don't know, like the Hester series and like going way back.
Yeah. Well, we didn't really have a high pro level here, did we? Do you remember the day that it was sponsored by Benjiboard and Pepsi? There was kind of pro teams for those guys. They would have a sponsored team.
It's still challenging now, though, for people that are supposedly pro in the UK, isn't it? Like, you don't make, you know, they're getting lots of product, but they're not. They can't live on skateboarding.
Nothing,
they
can't make a living out of skateboarding.
Well, Tony Trillo must have earned his shoes. He must have earned quite a few bob because that was a big selling shoe. I know he's in the UK.
UK. I don't think there's ever been a skater in the UK that could say, "This is my job. I'm not going to work."
No, not at all.
And also, you never know when it's going to end as well. That's the thing as well. You can kind of just like an injury, and all your sponsors drop you overnight. No backup plan, is there? Do you know what I mean?
And it was the thing is as well,
which is why maybe doing the knowledge is a good thing.
Well, we all. I know that you're the best security man in the business. We are
totally.
We all had to get other jobs.
Feeling very secure right now.
I mean, Dion. You know, if it weren't for Dion, most of these buildings would have fallen down years ago. So
well, he built them, and we're lucky they're still standing.
Oh dear. Well, I don't want to not mention Pete Dossett because I love Pete Dossett.
Yeah, Pete's great. Yeah,
and I haven't seen him since we was 20. And I bet I bet he kills it still. I skated with Pete before he was pro. Before they brought out the board with the cherubs on it.
Yeah.
His pro model, and I was skating with him at Rom, and we'd be the only two there, and we didn't know each other. So he won't remember me, but I remember him because we'd skate, say a few words, follow each other a little bit, do tricks and stuff, and then I think about 6 months later, I opened up a magazine, and he's got his pro model, and it went, and he was there really dedicatedly practicing on his own, and that was a hard era to get good because I know he ended up skating with Rune Glifberg and other guys at London Bridge on the vert ramp.
Well, I remember seeing him at Stevenage. I don't know when it was a Bones Brigade tour.
Yeah.
So it was like, I think Hawk was there, but definitely Caballero was there. So I think Lance was there. Maybe Tommy Guerrero was that tour, but it was at Stevenage vert ramp. And in my opinion, Pete was putting them all to shame at the time.
Yeah.
It was like people were sort of screaming more for the American pros than, do you know what I mean? Because that's how it was. Yeah, you know,
he could do any hand plant you like.
Another one's Martin Herrick.
Yeah,
he
was an amazing skater. He used to do the best inverts ever.
I never found him that bad.
Yeah, I always got him really well with Martin.
He was like Ginger Steve was better.
You had to know how to take him. He was really dry, really sarcastic. Wasn't he? Terribly like.
Did he move to Germany or somewhere?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He's back in London now.
Oh, is he? Right.
And does he still skate?
I think now and again because somebody saw him at that, that Bowen Selfridges in Oxford Street.
Yeah, I skated that.
Yeah, he was there. Someone saw him there.
Yeah. Have you skated it, Matt?
No, and he turned up at London Collion as well. He was at that.
All right.
With Ginger Steve. So.
Oh, is he still with Ginger Steve, the double act?
Yeah, Steve don't skate anymore.
Like Cannonball.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? He's really good laid-back rollouts in Ron Paul, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's not skated for years. Apparently.
Did you skate the Selfridges one?
Yeah, for a little while. Yeah, when it was first because I had a job at the back, Weymouth Street. You know Weymouth Street runs behind, doesn't it? I just got to shoot around the corner. Fucking run around there about that.
I went there with my wife. We was in there shopping, and that ramp is in the section where they sell all the expensive designer shit. So we're looking at pairs of shoes by what's his
Louis
name,
Vuitton
McQueen or whatever.
someone,
No, a pair of trainers, and they were 1,500 quid trainers by. What's the
By a name
guy's
you've
name?
never heard of.
Yeah, anyway, we go in there and the guy's standing. I said, "Oh, that's great. Can I have a go?" Because I didn't have a board, so you have to use his board. And he's like, "Oh, I'm not sure, mate. It's a bit like, you know." So you have to sign this waiver. Now I'm going to tell you a few things about. I said, "Just give me the board." I get on the board. I pulled this air about. Come back, landed it. I gave him his board
when
back.
he woke up with the paramedics around him. that
Birdies for tweeting.
Yeah, that did happen to you, did it, at Mile End? Skating on your own and woke up.
The Mile End, funny enough, shall we talk about accidents? Because, I mean, Dion walks down the street, trips over Chris bag, breaks his shoulder. No matter what he does. But none of us have had seriously bad skateboard accidents.
I'm lucky I've never had.
Really?
I done my shoulder. That was skating. That was at Rom skating.
How long ago was that, though? That was like last year.
No,
You can't count anything after being 60.
2 years ago. 21. That was.
You see, there's a thing at our age now. I had an accident at Mile End, fell, hit my head, got a concussion, drove myself to the hospital, London hospital, drove straight past the hospital, couldn't remember what I was doing or where I was going, carried on driving, got all the way to the city, thought, oh, I remember now, I was going to the hospital. And I get to the hospital, this is quite a true story. I get to the hospital and she said to me, what happened? I said, well, I was skating, I fell from about 6 foot on the back of my head, and it really has shook me and kind of, what's it called? Brain fluid comes out your nose. Oh. So it's not snot, it's like fluid from your brain's coming out. I said, and I know that I'm not right. I know that I don't feel quite right. So I feel healthy and fit, but I just feel a little bit. And she says, what makes you think that? I said, well, I left the skate park and I knew I should go to hospital. And on the way here, I forgot where I was going, and I ended up driving. She said, "Oh, okay."
That's concussion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you pick up a guy in the back seat of the car as well?
Fair. Now it's all getting really trippy. I'm not even in a cab.
In somebody else's car.
Yeah, get in, mate. we get to the hospital, and this is she undressing me in the cubicle. She says, "Take your shirt off." I said, "All right." I take my shirt off. And then she says, let me just look you over. And she puts her hands on my chest and she's rubbing my chest. And I'm thinking, you do know it was a head injury. He said,
It's the hospital, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the hospital. And she says to me, the nurse, you obviously have a really high pain tolerance. And I'm thinking, am I getting molested here? And I was. She was giving me a feel up. It's nothing to do with
Yeah.
Anyway.
Then the doctor came in. The doctor came in and said to him, "Can you take all your clothes off and stand by the window?" I said, "What? Do you want to see me in daylight?" He went, "No, I don't like my neighbours."
That was one of the things as well at Rom. We'd always turn up telling jokes. There was loads of jokes. There's jokes that I tell today to the cab drivers that all stem from Rom, like the dog that ran out of petrol.
What's that?
The mind your own business.
Remind me of the dog that ran out of petrol.
So you'd always do it as if it was a petrol station at Rom. I've pulled up at a petrol station at Rom there just before I came. I'm putting petrol in. The geezer beside me's pulled up in his car, and as he gets out, the dog's jumped out, and someone spilled all the petrol on the floor from the hump, and the dog started licking it. And I said to him, mate, your dog, it's licking the petrol. He's really licking the petrol. Yeah. And he said, oh, shit. And as he goes to grab the dog goes bananas, storms off, starts running in circles, and all of a sudden it just goes,
Did he die?
I ran out of petrol.
Brilliant. I'm using that one.
We would say
I've not heard that before. It's great.
I'll tell you another Rom classic. They found that ice cream man dead in the ice cream man, didn't
the
they?
one who topped himself.
Yeah, topped himself. Covered in nuts and sauce.
No,
The two fellas that died in the Indian takeaway that just round the corner of Rom.
I remember that one. Go on.
Yeah. One's in a coma, the other one had a dodgy ticker.
Oh, dear.
We're here all week.
There were some good ones back in the day, though. Oh,
It's good
dear.
because you'd always get fresh people coming in, wouldn't you? They didn't know your material, so
Well, we knew your
It was
material.
like the first night ever. Every night was.
him and Graham would go, "Oh, you but be in the element."
But the thing is, there was a time during that period where you could go. You didn't have to ring anyone or text anyone or whatever.
You just went to
You
Rom,
just
didn't
went,
you?
and there would be someone there.
Yeah.
You knew, because there was quite a sort of like 30 strong group. of all them different age
That's what we
groups.
was talking about last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We was having this conversation last night.
How big was the team that we took to Bilbao? That was a big.
That was a big team, yeah.
About 20
Yeah, it
odd,
must be. And
Yeah.
then you had all the guys from Wales as well, didn't you? And
Yeah.
Grim and all that. And
The one who had, when we came back, he got about 10 million cigarettes that had all been broken open on the conveyor belt. They're all.
oh, that's right.
Dan,
yeah, I
he
forgot about
died, you know, that guy?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
got
passed.
cancer
Yeah, he
and
passed
died.
away. Yeah, Dan was Rob's
Rob's
mate.
pal, wasn't
I
he?
skated Swanage Pool with those guys. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he passed
that
away,
guy.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Dion came in right just now when he arrived, and I honestly wanted to cry. And I might have a little tear in my eye now because it was
Wasn't that bad.
no, we've been through so much, so many years. I've got to tell one last story because it's haunted me my whole life. we're skating New England, me and Dion, and we meet up with Steve Conn.
Yeah.
And we're going everywhere. But Dion, if you ever skate with Dion, is the fittest fat bloke you'll ever meet. I could never keep up. I mean, we'd skate, and honestly, I remember our first skate trip to California. I could not walk. And he's saying to me, come, we're going to skate. And I'm like, honestly, I cannot walk. I feel like my legs have been amputated. My muscles are gone. We're skating New England, and there's a really lovely day. And I thought, would it be good if we just went down to the beach, maybe got some in the sea, or maybe had a bit, sit down, have a drink,
Yeah.
do all of that.
Yeah,
He's
bit
like,
of
no,
seafood.
I've got to skate. And it was burning, Matt. It was roasting.
Yeah.
Anyway, he'd done it a few times. And then I'm in the car, and I'm driving. And I send a text, like, fuck me, this it's driving me fucking mad. Dion's sitting in the chair beside me. He hears ding dong.
He sent it to my phone.
At least you got the point across.
I was like,
Fucking funny.
I bet you went like that though, didn't you?
we just shook it up. It's like, no, he went like this.
Disbelief.
Can you suck a text back? Like,
Yeah.
One of the funniest memories I've got of skate trips, though, is our first trip to California, right? We get there, it's late at night, driving around, got to find somewhere to stay. We found this flea pit of an hotel, didn't we? It's a double room, 2 double beds. So me and him are in one bed.
Oh, yeah.
And Graham and Andy are in the other bed. And, you know, you're jet lagged, you're buzzing, you're messing about. Can't sleep, right? So Andy gets up to have a piss. And he's bollock naked. He's in bed with Graham. Graham just absolutely lost it, didn't he? Me and him, I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever laughed so much. I was on my hands and knees. Like, it was hilarious.
Graham, because he's in bed next to him, right? He doesn't realise.
Yeah.
All they've got between him, there's nothing between them. There's a blanket. He's laying next to a naked man, and he gets up to go to a piss, and Graham's like, Andy, are you naked? He says, I always sleep naked.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then he got out of bed, didn't he? He slept on the floor.
Yeah, he slept on the floor all week.
Yeah.
All week he slept on the floor.
bloody
But, and do you remember that trip? I don't know where we'd gone. We were staying in another hotel, and Andy, like wherever you're only there for a night, you just live out of your bag, don't you? Not Andy.
Yeah.
He hangs everything up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's the white t-shirts, the black t-shirts, everything's set up, his books, this, that and the other, all laid out, all these toiletries and that.
Shrines.
So me and him are just sitting on the bed watching like that. We don't, and then he says, hey, you guys mind if I grab first shower? So me and him just look at each other, he's in the shower, just threw everything on the floor. And he comes out, with his towel around him, and he just goes, and put it all back. What have we got?
Funny side.
And me and him are like, what have we got to do to piss him off?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
We did get him, I think. I think we've made him angry.
We went to Orange County and the old town of, you know, in Forest Gump, where there's the old barber shop. That boys are running full. You got all the old fellas sat outside. That's actually filmed in this part of Orange, the old Orange town. We go there, and Andy goes in to a thrift store. Right?
Bought a baseball, didn't he?
Yeah, no, before that though.
Oh, okay.
He's going to buy this pedal car. 1940s. It was the size of this table.
Yeah.
Great. It took
How's he
3 of
getting it
them.
home?
No.
Yeah, he had
I
the
thought
thought
how he's
about.
getting home.
Hey, I'm going to buy this for my son. We're like, Andy, hold on a minute. For one, he ain't getting in the fucking car.
No.
There's no room for it. And how are you going to get that back to London?
Yeah. Have to ship it, haven't you?
So he's a little bit deflated. So he goes back in.
Hasn't
He goes
thought
back
through,
in the
has he?
shop. Says to the guy, "I'm sorry, not today. I won't be buying that." So he's in there about 10 minutes. We're like, what the fuck's he doing? And he comes out with this little paper bag, brown paper bag. We said to him, what have you bought? You went, a signed baseball. Like, really? He said, yeah, look, it's signed by Babe Ruth. Of course it is.
Babe Ruth signed baseball, yeah.
$5. It's the only one. I went, you called this. He got a fucking drawer full of them. So back to the film now. I mean, it's like you were saying, it is quite emotional to watch it, isn't it? People, and I think me and Matt was chatting last night, is to think there was something that we were part of. If Rom got new drains, new lights, new service, it will never have what we had. And that's a fact. Isn't it? You know,
yeah. And
that period of time.
I think what's really interesting as well is, you know, we're all sort of like emotionally attached to it, everyone here. But what I've found quite interesting is people that have watched the film, that are kind of people I would kind of, that are, I'm not bothered if I see that or not, but then they've watched it and then they've gone, I was really good. I actually, like, they felt the emotional side of it. And then I think I was saying to you again last night, I was talking to a guy through work who kind of skated for, I don't know, a year in 92 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And I can't remember we got on the subject of Rom, but we did. And he said, oh, is it still there? And I said, well, it is, but it's kind of like for disrepair and there's a few things happening. He went, oh, what? He said, because I loved that place, but he'd gone there for, it's a small part of his life, but it's just, but people, and there's a lot of people that you find like that, isn't there? You know what I mean? You go, oh, I've spent so much time, you know, I've had it a few times, people have gone, oh yeah, Rom, you know, I went over there, even if they just, when things were at a peak or a craze, and they went over on a BMX or a skateboard or whatever. It's everyone, Matt, though, isn't it? But everyone are our age. Yeah, but the shame is now is that you're losing that.
There's no continuity.
You know, where's that next generation that are going to experience?
There'd have to be a fresh wave.
But it's also
they'll never have what we had.
Have that. But it's also again that was that time when there wasn't as many parks, and if there was anything, it was normally like, you know, GBH shit. Mini ramps and stuff like that. You know, that concrete park thing in the UK hadn't developed really, and of course the pool. You don't. There's where you're going to get that. You don't get that anywhere but there. Do you know what I mean?
It's quite diluted now, isn't it? It's probably more skaters now than it's ever been. It's very
definitely
diluted. You look at where we are now. You've got Victoria Park. You've got Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
You've got Central Park. All big bowls.
Yeah. With
coping and everything that.
And then it's great for the scene for shops, you know, that kind of stuff for skateboard in general. But it kind of spreads everyone out again. Then, but it is that thing, isn't it, where it's kind of created, you know, because it's never been as popular as it is now and diverse. So many more female skaters and everything else. But then it's just it's progression, isn't it? It just moves in a different way, you know what I mean? It's
also there's something about the fact that, like, Rom, you had to pay to go in there, and there's always this thing that if something's free, then doesn't hold as much value. If you've got to pay, then you treat it, you want to make the most of that, and so it's almost it's the thing that kind of played against it, but on the other side, it created this kind of community and it protected it as well. There's no, it's not covered in graffiti like Harrow is, or. Yeah, you know, and so the thing that people didn't want to pay and moaning about the landlords or the people that owned it actually kind of kept it as it, you know.
It's like a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's what put some people off, encouraged others, isn't it? You know.
Did you know the enigma I found about Rom is John had a skate park and never skated.
Yeah, and didn't really like skateboarders.
No, didn't like anyone.
Well, no,
didn't like anyone.
Particularly if they had a skateboard.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see again. That the footage of that last trip to Cali we done. We've done the skydive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Free falling. You know this song.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
I ain't seen that.
That gets me a bit teary. That one.
Yeah. Watching me and Dion go to the plane.
Yeah, like the turtle.
Yeah, Dion is a turtle.
Like two
Ninja Turtles.
Freeze frame it, right? The fear in his eyes.
No fear. No fear.
Shut up.
I couldn't do it.
You haven't done it, have you?
No.
Okay, because I actually was going to do it again, and as I went to do it again, I had flashbacks. And I thought, no, I'm not doing it. I know you did it, but you're crazy. You was on oxycodone at the time.
We said we'd do it. We did it.
And we did it. Yeah, we did it in a beautiful place, Lodi.
Yeah, Napa Valley, wasn't it?
And the guys there were all lunatics.
Crazy place, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were crazy. And I went to do it again in Turkey, and they spoke about it. And I remember all of our prep talk that we had. So I know that when you jump out of a plane, the first 1,000 feet, you fall at 10 seconds. But every 1,000 foot after that, you're at maximum speed. You fall at 6
Terminal
seconds.
velocity.
Yeah, so you're now going to do 1,000 feet every 6 seconds.
Yep.
So with at 6,000 feet, you're 30 seconds from the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm thinking, oh, Jesus. And we jumped higher than normal. It was 14 or 15,000 feet.
14,000 feet. And it's high. You can't jump that high in Europe.
No, that went to Turkey and they said, we're going to jump at 6,000 feet. I'm like, 6,000 feet? Mickey Mouse. We jumped out.
Get up.
Yeah.
Jesus. I did.
You don't even need a parachute.
No. I do that. Oh, dear. But that was great. And we made a fairly decent video out of it, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think I did the
one where you did meatball. Perfect meatball. That one needs
That's
to
an
be
Al Gorta one. That's an Al Gorta film, isn't it?
2005, I think that was.
I'll have to dig him out.
Dig that out, yeah.
Did I
Get
put it
one on YouTube.
online? I must have put it online.
Was that not Slash Dogs?
I think it was the days.
Slash Dog Slash
I think it was
Yeah.
yes, it was. I think it was the days when you were putting
Making
it onto
DVDs.
a DVD and in a case with a cover. Because there wasn't an outlet. Like
I think I've got the DVDs somewhere, but then you've got to find something to play it on.
Yeah. What do you do?
Just transfer it. Just
You got to have a thing to put it in.
a DVD player. Yeah.
I ain't got one.
Have you not?
No,
No one's got one. So
Come on, get
figure
with
it out.
Yeah, it's funny actually you say that. Yeah, because
Was you in any of that then? Do you remember?
I'm sure. Yeah, I must
Yeah,
be.
he was,
I must be in it. Yeah.
that-
Gay bar? You was in gay
I
bar?
was in
He was
gay
in
bar.
gay bar.
I was.
Everyone's
Gay bar.
in
Gay bar, yeah.
Greg
Wait,
and Dave's
you
in
had
gay
me and
bar.
Gareth acting in the
In the
hotel.
pool.
In the hotel, we had to get up. You came through with the camera and then
Yeah, go on.
Gareth's got all his pads on, wasn't he?
yeah.
The Mahou Classic.
Oh no, that was me. I
Was
filmed
it?
that.
Oh.
I filmed that. Yeah, I've still got that. Yeah.
Not the Sopolino steps.
Sopolino set.
So-
Yeah.
Mahou's Clásicos.
Yeah, apparently Danny Way's been back there. Everyone just looks at him and goes, "Not fucking doing
Burnquist
that."
said, no, not for me.
Not for me. I can remember that night like it was yesterday. He's in his undercrackers, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
He's in his white undercrackers. He was, oh dear. We were sitting on, it was like sitting on some thing in Mississippi porch.
Yes, yeah, that was Sopolino. I was out there a little while ago actually, Sopolino.
We were
that's
so
that's
drunk.
all still there.
The steps are still there.
We were so
Steps still there, yeah.
we were so drunk. Do you remember that the owner of the place came round at about midnight and said, "Guys,
pack it
you're
in,
gonna have
yeah.
to fucking calm down." We didn't realise how loud we got.
No.
And we went round. Graham and Rob Lawrence and Nick were staying in another chalet at the back of us.
Yeah.
And we went round there, all just sitting there like that. Just listening
Yeah.
to music. I'm like, oh, fucking liven up, mate.
I know. I actually,
Really going nuts.
I remember you done me in the shower.
I was cold water. Yeah, you went to get the soap. didn't
Lucky
you?
bastard.
No. You got to be careful. You had to always have your wits about.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm in the shower.
Next to me, like
Yeah.
with the soap, like a limpet.
No, it wasn't that bad. I mean, that was on another
A
trip.
sexual limpet.
You never fought me off, though.
No.
He always telling you, get away.
He had two
Stop it.
two shower tricks. He had two shower
It's
tricks.
too rough.
Drop the soap again.
Just one shower trick would be you'd be in a shower and a fucking bucket of cold water comes over the top. You're like, oh, what was that?
Yeah, that was it. The cold water.
Yeah.
Top, yeah.
And the other one was trying to open the thing, and get a bit of deep beat and slap it on the bell end like that.
That was foreplay. Dean Davros foreplay. Davro, sorry. Davros, yeah, Davro.
But going back lastly to the emotional thing when Dion come in, I mean, there's some real wonderful memories that have happened in my life that would never have happened if I hadn't met you.
Yeah,
and we had a real wonderful time. And to be honest, Matt, you're nothing to do with it.
I knew that was coming.
But when you think about it, if it weren't for Rom, none of us would be
Well,
talking.
I was going to say, I think it's
We've all met. We all
that
know each other.
skateboarding thing as
Yeah,
well.
Rom,
that-
don't we? It's
and there's because it's that kind of thing where it does attract a certain sort of person, and I think whether it's either that can be like a troubled thing, can be rough,
It's
rough
dispossessed
upbringing.
and repossessed, isn't it? It's like,
Or it's a creative thing.
Yeah.
You find, some people have gone and done other things, but they've skateboarded at some point or got involved with it, whatever. And like us sitting here,
you look at that. You look at the footage of the X Games when Tony Hawk first landed the 900. Freeze it and look at his face. The expression on his face. Then look at a kid who drops into the first time. He's fucking exactly the same, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
And like, for lights of most of us, it's it's not just the physical act of riding a skateboard. It's your introduction to art and certain types of music and stuff.
Music, massive.
I've never been into any of the skate music, and I've never been into any of the skate clothes.
No, I'm talking about art. I mean,
No, I'm talking about art. But every time I turned up, I didn't know who the bands were that you're playing, and I didn't know anything about the clothes. And you're saying, "Oh, ain't you got Dickies on? And what trainers you got on there? They're my Clarks." I mean, what are you talking about?
You did rock up in some
Some shady shit, didn't he?
unfortunate
It was a complete fashion disaster.
He was. He's like,
I never had anything. Talking of
yeah.
thingy, you reminded me of that coming back from that Spain trip. You were so drunk
Smashed.
fuck.
on that plane.
Didn't you leave your duty free on the plane?
Yeah,
or
a bottle of JD.
I thought you'd get us chucked off that plane.
At the point he had the pilot in headlock, this is not going to end well.
We stickered the whole place up.
Yeah.
Do you remember we put stickers everywhere all over?
All them Santa Cruz and Indy stickers.
Inside the plane, yeah.
And it was funny because he wasn't that drunk on any of the trip.
No, I just... You know what it was? It was in that bar, we had those big goldfish bowls of gin and tonic, and that pushed me over the edge.
Like in Spain, we've had some laughs in Spain as well, haven't we?
Well, where would we have gone if it wasn't for skateboarding? Where would we have gone together in these groups to do these things?
That's
In the odd stag night.
Well, we haven't even touched upon my team management of Copenhagen.
no.
He died recently. The Stone Roses.
Did he?
No.
Drummer or the bass player?
No, you're talking about Happy Mondays. That was Paul Ryder.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure Stone Roses.
No,
No,
Stone Roses.
it was Paul Ryder died last year before.
Sean
No.
Ryder's brother.
I'm not being
Yeah.
funny. Google it. Stone Roses died this week or last week.
All right.
One of
can't be Ian
the
Brown,
one
'cause
of
I saw him the other day,
Stone
but-
Roses. Did you?
He wasn't very complimentary about you.
What?
That was a great trip.
Have you seen that bloke?
But that is
He mad for it.
that is that interesting thing of where you end up travelling a bit further away from where you live because of skateboarding. As a kid, from Mile End to Rom, and then from London to Bilbao to the States.
You get that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
The places you wouldn't normally go.
The other thing is as well, what other sport or pastime or activity, whatever you want to call it, could you go out and skate
Oh, I
with
know,
top
yeah.
level pros?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I say
You
this all the
can't.
time. Like it's almost like if you say skating with Lance Mountain, it's like playing five-a-side with Ronaldo.
Just ain't gonna happen, is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just it possibly, but it's very, very highly unlikely. But yeah, well, that's that thing. It's a great leveler, doesn't it? It levels everyone out.
Yeah.
Even though it's interesting, we talked about that thing earlier about where you've got that dynamic of a bit of a hierarchy and a bit of a clickiness.
Yeah.
It's like it's a level playing field. It really it's just
It is a social
wooden
for
toy,
everyone.
that bit of concrete, and that's it.
That's all you need.
You know what I mean? But it's quite.
Shall I tell the Mike McGill story? Because we probably remember different stories. We go to Mike McGill's shop. You remember going to Mike McGill's?
Yeah, and he weren't there, was he?
You weren't there? No. Do you know where he was?
Go on.
Are you sure it was Mike McGill's shop?
Yeah, Mike McGill's shop. Mike McGill's not there. So we go in there and we say, is Mike there?
Greengrocers.
Mike McGill is the guy behind the counter says, it's no problem though. He's skating Bob Burnquist's ramp. I'll phone him up and you can go over and you can skate with Bob Burnquist and they'll see if you think.
Right.
He's like, Dean, have you seen Bob Burnquist's ramp? And he says like,
First mega ramp.
Are you joking?
You could see it from the road. We're like,
well, we was in Oceanside a bit, but I remember the guy behind the counter is literally saying, I will phone Mike McGill.
Yeah.
You can go. He's going to be they're at Bob's ramp. I'm quite sure he'll let you come over. And I was like, yeah, well, we should go. We should go. And they're saying, I have no idea what his ramp looked like. And I don't think we're talking about the mega ramp. We was talking, he's got a bowl and a half
Bob,
pipe.
Bob Lands or something. I need a wee.
Some days you just shouldn't get out of bed.
You want to see a picture of a guy with elephantitis of the nuts? It's pretty tasty.
Gay bar! Gay bar!